been on Zoom before. It's so good.
It's so good, and it's free.
It's like
Go
we're all
figure.
hanging out together.
Yeah.
Good. You're all on a durry lock.
Yeah, I thought I'd get into the spirit of things with a Jozzy.
Do you
Ollie,
like
mate!
Hey,
Ollie.
hey Ryan,
Just goes to show we can pull it off.
Look at us go.
Amazing. Amazing what you put your head to.
yeah.
Owner of...
I'm Ollie.
Hi, Ollie. I'm Sal.
Hi, Sal.
Ollie, you own JANUS.
Yeah, that's right. Well done.
I'm pretty impressed with my
Because
reading.
I met Ollie sailing on Janus, and I was just like, fuck, I need one of these things. These are so good. And
Lots of it through.
yeah, a few years ago, you just rounded them up and organised some, I don't know if it was with the Kettering boat rally or something, but you rallied them all together, and that's when they were sort of still a bit scattered around. But then after that one event, just they all came to Kettering.
Pretty well all side by side, aren't they? Apart from Lockie,
really?
you're out in the mooring.
Not for me, because I'm a cheapskate.
How much is a mooring?
Yeah.
Well, I'm actually on Ollie's mooring, so
Oh, that's very
actually,
clever.
we're not supposed to talk about that sort of stuff, Sal.
Yeah, right.
I might owe him some money, I don't know.
Yeah.
It's a service lock.
Congrats on the win, Gus.
Thanks, mate. Cheers.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was good. Good fun.
Are you on the cup already, or?
Hey? No, I had to give it back, unlike some people.
And what you do is you keep it and you say you're going to engrave it yourself.
Yeah, and then 7 years later, you give it back.
Yeah.
Such a degenerate.
So
was
what's
thinking actually-
the cup? What have you just won?
Oh, we were just at the Signet Regatta.
Yeah.
They're down south, and Ollie and I went, and managed to pick up. There's a cup for the just the winner of the Derwents. So,
Brilliant.
we just
Brilliant.
match race pretty much, which is pretty cool.
Amazing.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, but Ollie and I won it in Ollie's boat 7 years ago, and that was the last time the D's were there. And we meant to give the cup to them then during getting engraved, and we just took it home and forgot about it.
Thanks everyone for jumping on the call. I was at the Kettering rally a couple of weeks ago and saw, who did I actually see? Who was sailing in that rally?
No, there, but I think all these guys were.
Yeah, right.
You saw us sail past Holger Dance, but
Yeah.
we just went out for a look and didn't end up doing the race.
Right.
Yeah.
Gus sailed, right?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, I guess so. Yeah.
Gus and Ollie's old man took out Ollie's boat. They raced, and then John took out GNOME. They raced.
So let's talk about D class. Like, what is it? How has it attracted you guys? What is it about the boats? Tell me about the romance of the Ds. What is it?
I think it started kind of with a lot of our parents.
Yep.
So JANUS, the boat that I've got, my old man bought that from the Wooden Boat Festival in 2009, I think. And that we've had that one for a while. And then the next one to kind of get bought into that kind of Kettering community would have been probably GNOME, which Nelson and his old man bought, which is John.
Yep.
And then who came next, I guess? I don't know.
So these boats they were designed in the 20s? No, they weren't. They were designed, yeah.
Late 20s, wasn't it? Yeah, GNOME was in 29, it was launched, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So there was a Mr. Webster, and Mr. Webster was at the Derwent Sailing Squadron, and he said, design me a one design class. And from there it just grew. And so
They're intended as a stepping stone to keelboat racing, weren't they? From dinghies, and it was a competition Australia wide.
Was it Australia wide, was it?
I think so. Could be wrong.
Sounds good. It was Australia wide. And so it was one design. But when I was looking at some of the boats today, JANUS is 22 foot, GOBLIN's 24 foot. So what are is that right? Or is that, no, is that that's a typo in the wooden?
I think some people have measured them without the bowsprit and some with, and you get a few, measurements mixed up every now and then.
24 foot, pretty much the recognised.
Yeah.
That is the recognised design and sail pattern.
Yeah, but they're all pretty different.
And then so they were built. They seem to have been built by different boatyards around Hobart.
I think the first six were all built to pretty crucial like measurement and scantlings and the same timbers for the same jobs. But then, as far as I understand, the popularity of the boats just kept growing and people started building them in their backyards. So you end up with ones that are amateur built, you end up with ones with different cabin arrangements slightly. They're all very slightly, and even under the water, when you see them on the hard, they're all slightly different. But it's a D. You can pick them from a mile away, but they're all, a little bit different.
Tell me about that. How can you pick them from a mile away? What is that's distinctive about the Ds?
Oh, they're just massive sail on them and low freeboard, and that wraparound cabin with one porthole is pretty iconic. And
I've definitely built more racy than anything else that had sort of come out in Tassie at that time, I think.
Absolutely.
So, you can look at them and know that they're going to be fast. They've just got that torpedo effect on them, and really.
Yeah, I was actually quite surprised to see how much sail they have for the conditions of the Derwent or the Dontecusto Channel, because it's shifty. It's totally shifty. So tell me about tell me about your sail plan, and how do you plan what you're going to race with?
Well, there's a sort of a unsaid rule in the Ds that you don't reef. So you stick with the full kit and just muscle through, which is why we tend to break. That's why we tend to break things a fair bit, I think.
Yeah, so we break shit.
Hey?
So we always break shit.
Yeah, I know.
They used to.
Most of them got reefing points in them, but we don't really use them. But I think that that was just the sail plan of the era was they were big mains, small jibs, and that was a theory of you had power downwind, and the idea was short heads gave you better lift and all this sort of stuff. But I think today, if you built them, you definitely wouldn't have that big boom. It would you'd be a lot smaller plans, a lot more modern sails, and then you'd be off. And maybe even overlapping heads.
Yeah. Amazing. They look absolutely incredible in full flight. It's just such a beautiful looking boat. It really reminds me of a Tumlaren in Melbourne. We've got quite a big Tumlaren fleet, and there's a lot of similarities. I think the Ds are slightly broader and obviously have a bit more of a cabin. The Tums tend to be sort of a much more flush sort of deck arrangement. And so, how much can you pick up a D for?
I think probably even when most of these guys were picking them up. I don't know, what did you get yours for, like?
Well, I got lucky with mine.
Yeah.
Got it for 7.5.
Yeah.
And that's pretty good for it, because there's a few mongrel Ds around that need a lot of work.
Yeah.
But the bones are still there. But if you want to buy one in sailing condition, they're pretty rare. They're pretty historic, pretty sought after. So even in rough but sailing, you'd get 10 grand for one, I reckon.
Well, but Alec just got 10 for his, so
he
started on. But
I reckon they'd fetch around that.
But then when Ollie first and Dad first got JANUS, I think that was maybe 3 or 4 grand. So they've definitely gone up in price. And I think if you got one to full mint condition, yeah, you get up to 20 probably for it. I reckon if you really, yeah.
Well,
But you wouldn't.
his boat's worth 20.
Huh?
What you're saying is your boat's worth 20.
No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that. It's definitely not mint. There's,
Oh, it's pretty mint.
you look under the hit.
It's definitely the
stuff
big
you can't
one.
see.
And who's making your sales down there? Who you
It's
actually
in the
getting?
next bag, isn't it?
Oh,
I guess
well,
You kind of have just a main and a heady and a kite. That's it.
Yeah.
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 And you can't have multiples of anything either. Yeah, just the one.
Right.
Set, yeah. But
Yeah.
I guess the newest set is probably my set was made by Russell at Stormbay Sales in Kettering. So
Yep.
he's got his head around Derwent class sales really strongly. So and
And
Dylan works there. Dylan Reed, who has Merlin. So
right. Yeah. And what's the leniency around the one design? Like, who is anyone measuring? Is it just
that's
how does it?
gone, I feel like
Yeah.
They're just, if they're sailing, they're a D. There's no real.
Yeah. They used to be so hard on it, like really intense. But
yeah.
But now it's just us, so it doesn't there's no.
We don't really care. I mean, there are quite a few differences in them now, and if you're gonna, every regatta we have or any big race, if you get anyone's can win still, even if you've changed some things or got slightly bigger this, slightly smaller that.
Yeah.
I think
it's we're not talking etchels.
No, not at all. Not at all. No.
Because of the age of them too, the idiosyncrasies, like with how they were built and then how they've been modified kind of over the years. Like you just
Totally.
like my boom's a lot shorter than all these guys. And there's a few other bits and pieces through the other boats as well. So
yeah.
Like mine's got an aluminium mast, but you wouldn't stop that from him going out for a sail with the others. He's just like whatever.
Yeah, all penalised you. Like there's no.
Yeah.
And what about the names? Because the names are like something else. They're beautiful. Somebody run me through all the names.
Oh, you're all over it.
Oh, I don't know about that. We really need John Brown here, but
yeah,
he's the wizard with all this. He's got all the old knowledge.
But it's
we need the wizard.
Yeah, well, it probably sounds like a Derwent class name. But
it certainly does. So he gave me
technology kind of.
He ran me through some names today, which was or the other day: Gnome, Goblin, Janus, Merlin, Mermaid, Salamis, Gremlin, Pim, Peri. So where have all these names come from, and why are these names, these beautiful names?
Are they mythical gods or something? Mythical.
Yeah,
they all were part of mythical or fairy tales and things. There's Imp as well. Peter Pan was another one. Wendy.
Isis.
Yeah.
Isis, yeah. What's the other one? Undine.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, was it about 28 of them all up, something like that?
Amazing. So can you track them down now? Are you aware? Are some of them just hanging around in people's sheds? Like one day you'll just open it and go, oh my god.
There are
sheds.
At some point. They're a nice hull shape, and I reckon at some point racing them died out a bit, and the one design thing died out a bit, and people started modifying them, like maybe in the 70s sort of era. So you see a lot of, I call them mongrel Ds. They're like got raised shears and they've been lengthened at the stern or bigger cruising cabins. So you'll sometimes see a boat that looks like a D and turns out it is, but it's just been heavily modified.
Yeah, that was all the old blokes.
Which now it's such a shame,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like there is some coming back. I think what I was reading today, John's got, what's he got in the shed? Is it Nymph? He's got a boat called Nymph. How's he going with that? Well, he can tell us if and when he jumps on. But yeah, it sounds like he's had to strip that back of some modifications.
Yeah, that thing got cut and shut pretty hard. But I've seen that boat. I went and looked at it, and that had been raised 3 planks on the shear,
Mm.
but they left, and so the stem had been raised, but they left the old stem. You can see the old shear clamp in there, like they just built up off of it. So when you go in the boat, you can see like where it used to sit and stuff like. But yeah,
It sounds to me like you sort of, it's one of those things that like, where do you start and where do you stop? If it's got modifications and you start stripping it out, and then you're kind of like, okay, where am I taking the planks back? Okay, now I'm just back to a hole. What am I?
That's what John Miembo did, didn't he? John
Yeah.
Miembo, he had a
Gremlin.
Yeah.
and they had a raised cabin. He took it out to, I don't know, rebuild, and it's still out of the water. And that was
Right.
8 years ago. Maybe.
Yeah. I suspect it's
You-
rather dry.
A few have gone the other way, and they've I think there's 2 or 3 ended up in New South Wales on lakes, and they turned them into day sailors. Like they ripped the cabin and the deck and stuff off them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's where a few ended up.
yeah, a few went to the mainland. I think
So-
2 of them got sold to the Navy, and they were like training boats for the Navy, and they were like painted like navy grey and stuff, and had Australian like Army Force like numbers and shit.
So are you guys organising your own races? Are you taking them out on Saturdays just for club races? You know, what's the program for the Ds?
Oh, a couple of those.
Wednesday twilights pretty consistently.
Yeah.
Yep.
And then we're kind of tying in with the Wooden Boat Festival or the
Yep.
Wooden Boat Rally to do a kind of
Of worlds?
worlds.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah. That's very cool. That's very cool. So how many people do you race with ideally?
3's pretty good.
Yeah.
Like as crew.
The crew.
They-
If you rush,
They'd always do 4.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'd have the headsail trimmer would be up the bow, and then someone in the pit, someone steering, and someone on the main.
Yeah.
But that's a bit busy and a bit wet.
Yeah.
3's pretty good.
Yeah.
That's where the modifications are coming in a bit, hasn't it? Like we've
Come back to the cockpit.
got the modern style of sailing where you bring everything aft and you sail
Yeah.
the boat from aft, and then you've got people hiking on the rail. So we've kind of simplified in that way, and that's been really good because a lot of the time, we can't get crew. You can actually take them out by yourself. So
Yeah.
do that every now and then.
How much do they weigh? What's the sort of typical weight of a D?
that's a good question.
1 is it 1.3?
Yeah, 1.3 to 1.4, I think. Yeah.
Yeah. And I'm guessing that you don't have a weight limit on your crew. So what are the perfect conditions for a D class? If you had to nail your regatta, what would you be hoping for?
Oh, fuck, if it was me, it'd be like absolute glass off.
With the tide in your favour, look.
Yeah. And then just like big speaker and some beers, just cruising.
Sunny day.
But if you gust like 25 knots.
No way. I'm sick of that.
JANUS really likes heavy wind.
Yeah.
Because she's a bit heavier and fatter.
But I think we just want 10 to 12.
Yeah, 10 to
And
15.
consistent, and then you just get as many races as you can. That's what we want.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's just like anyone does. Just like consistency.
And so are you racing wind with lures, or what are your ideal sort of racings in those sorts of boats?
I think that's what we're trying to stick to.
Yeah.
When we do regatta stuff.
Yeah.
I think it's good because the bulk of us are racing bigger boats, and we all kind of go pretty hard on that. So, and I think just our sort of age group are just doing some amazing things with going, doing that sort of short course racing. So bringing that back into the old days is really cool.
Yeah. Totally. I mean, it's pretty special what you've got here, guys, to you know, to be seeing young group of guys all out of one club, all racing single design, classic boats. It's pretty unusual. What's the magic?
I think it's an old boat beating new boats is pretty cool. Like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
My grandfather built mine, so I was.
Oh,
was
did
kind
he
of-
really? Where did he tell us about that? That's a little secret you've been holding there.
Not really. It's in a lot worse a condition than all of these guys. So I've only had it back about 2 years. He built it, I think, in high school. Was launched in about 1949, and then he sold it.
Amazing.
He sold it, and then when he was a little bit older and he had kids, he brought it back. And so my dad has like all these stories of sailing it down in Signet and things, and then they got rid of it again, and it was a tinderbox on a mooring, I think, with some friends of these guys, and John, who sails with us on my parents' boat, and he was saying that it was probably going to come on the market. And yeah, my dad and I were just like, if it ever comes on the market, whatever it's like, it'll yeah, we'll just get it. So yeah, we've only had it back about 2 years. We've sailed it a little bit, but now it needs a lot of love. So
Yeah. So what's your restoration plan on the boat?
Hopefully it'll be out of the water by Easter.
Yeah.
And then just all hands on deck and
Yeah.
get back. It just needs a new deck. So Perry has a celery laid deck.
Yep.
And so that's all lifted over the years. So yeah, but I mean that was kind of the appeal for me. I mean, it was beautiful watching all these guys kind of sail and that kind of thing. But the kind of family connection is kind of cool.
Yeah. I was blown away by the family connections down there. I just found it really, I think is it Gypsy? The boat, obviously not a D, but it's been in the family for continuous generations. It's just so lovely, such a lovely story. So, I mean, Kettering is such a special place from that point of view, isn't it? It's just this beautiful community of people.
And there's beautiful stories around, I think, all the Ds, like when they all come up on the hard and stuff, everyone walks around, like you just get someone like, you know, these old guys come around and they're like, oh, you know, like, you know, Goblin or whatever. I used to sail on that back in, you know, wherever, and they all know the boats and they'll tell you all these stories that you never knew anything about and all these, you know, kind of.
Then you hear like 1,000 different versions of the one story.
Yeah. Like they used to race them around Mariah and stuff and
really
and things like go around Tasman.
That's in like 3 days.
Yeah. And there was like this one, and like they were so like all stubborn. And I heard this one story where like it was just around Betsy Island or something, and like it started on a Friday, and it was that glassed out that by Sunday they hadn't even made it to the Iron Pot, but no one would retire.
So what we were talking about, sort of 5 nautical miles there.
Yeah, not far at all.
Oh, that's hilarious. What else? What other stories?
Well,
I think JANUS was. Oh, you go, Gussie.
The Goblin was actually. I can't remember what year it is. Actually, just you go, Ollie. I'll find the story.
You go. Okay, JANUS got. I don't know. I always forget the details, but she got stolen from the DSS. I'm pretty sure. And they sailed her out. I think I'm not sure who stole it, but they took her out and they got to kind of pass Betsy, and then they got caught in a storm and they abandoned ship. And then she washed ashore on Roaring Beach.
Oh.
On the peninsula. And then they ended up, I think they went down with a tug or something and towed it off the beach. And they cut the keel off with a chainsaw.
Oh my God.
Towed her out and towed her back to Hobart.
Oh my God. That's just incredible. And then the other thing I was reading about today was who was it that was the one? Gnome was raced. Oh no, which one was it got run over by a ferry? Sunk by a Goblin.
Yeah, that was Goblin. Yeah, so I was just trying to look for the photo, but I lost the photo. No.
Yeah. So tell us about that.
That's when it was, that's the launch date of it.
Yeah.
And anyway, but I couldn't find that. Yeah, they were finishing a race or something and got hit by a ferry, and it just like sunk in like 30 seconds. It was just gone. And apparently they got it back. Like it was in 15, 20 meters of water or something, and managed to drag it back out again and fix it.
Just
I didn't know
insane.
I'd love to find some photos of it. I don't know. I've always asked people if they were around then and took any photos of that. But
Yeah. Amazing.
yeah.
Amazing. How about you, Lockie? Any stories that you can tell about your D?
Oh, I don't know too many of the early stories of her, but I did have it. I had it in the marina here. I live on a boat here, and I had it next to me over there. And every second day, you'd have someone pulling you up just to yarn about the Ds and just chat about them. It was wonderful and like super frustrating at the same time. But yeah, I'd be curious to know more about it because I don't know why she's got an alley rig in it. And there's things you can see, like there's short planks on the starboard side. So she's copped a big smack there at some point and been repaired. And yeah, part of the transom's been sort of gravoed. I found that when I was on the slip last. I don't know what the story is there, but you do see it because she was built in 1935. That's 87 years of just floating around.
Yeah.
But I'd love to know like more.
I'd love to know who thought the aluminium mast was a good idea. There's a story there, definitely.
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
yeah,
I've got another mast off of, is it fucking Pixie? I think D6 or something. That I was restoring to put back in it, but I sort of dropped the ball on that one.
yeah. There's time. There's time. So, so Ryan, you've got a new deck to put down.
Yep.
And you were saying celery top. How is that a difficult wood to come by now, or is that still, is that? I mean, how sort of sustainable are we thinking?
We probably won't. We'll probably won't end up initially putting a laid deck on it.
Right.
Just because of all the issues like sealing it and all the fixings and things going through it. It was only like a veneer over the top of or about sort of 12 mil board planks over the top of ply, like all the other guys. So for the initial, we'll just put a ply deck and glass it. And then if we get a little bit inspired a bit down the track, we might put a laid deck back on it. But for the moment, just to try and get it back in the water and racing as quickly as we kind of can.
Yeah. And what about you, Gus? Where are you in your sort of ongoing restoration maintenance?
Well, I was really lucky when I purchased mine. So I did a lot of the work for the owner before me, Phil Meyer. I did all the rigging work for the boat, and Dave Golding did a lot of the restoration for it. And Phil was amazing. He's just one of the Meyer kids, and he's just very philanthropic and just wanted to save a boat, which is really cool. And so I was assisting with that, and so we went pretty hard on it and didn't spare any expense really. And then at the end, he was just liked the way that I'd done things, and so he offered me to buy it off him, and which was really amazing. So that became a good deal there, and
how wonderful. Are you a rigger? Is that?
Yes, mostly, yeah.
Right. Amazing. What an amazing opportunity for you.
Yeah, pretty cool.
And how about you, Ollie? Sorry. Where are you at with your sort of ongoing restoration?
Just been JANUS has kind of always just been maintained, never done anything drastic.
Yeah.
It's just a constant. She's had we snapped the rig in her once, so that was one big one.
Yeah. How'd you do that?
It was just sitting on the mooring in a big nor'easter, and it was just flogging there, and the mast step was just a bit rotten.
Right.
And she fell over on the mooring.
Yeah.
But we just try and slip them once or every year or every second year.
Yep.
Once a year is good.
And just sort of finally, what would you say to sort of, people who are wanting to get into the Kettering community and thinking and looking and thinking about getting into a D?
Just come for a sail with any one of us, and yeah, just crew with us.
Yeah.
And then you'll probably have to buy one and restore it because they don't come up very often.
Find one.
Yeah, well, I'm desperate to find one. I'd love to have the only D in Melbourne. I think that would be pretty amazing. But it would also feel wrong to take it away from.
Yeah, we wouldn't let you. You have to come.
Yeah, well, that's what I'd say. Yeah, I'll have to move to Kettering.
They just brought Mermaid back from New South Wales, wasn't it?
It was in Sydney Harbour.
Yeah. Oh, that's right. It was too. Sorry. Yeah.
It's just that I really admire what you guys are doing, and just to see young faces out on old boats is really, really exciting. And it's something we're at SWS we're really trying to push, is because I see this new blood coming through, both working in the field and just seeing that craft. That's not to dish on the amazing sort of work that people do and the handing on of knowledge, because if we don't have that knowledge handed on. But I don't know if you guys follow, do any of you follow Tally Ho, the Tally Ho project on YouTube? Yeah. It's so amazing. I mean, what those guys are, they're legends, and what they're doing is like, they're pretty much putting out a film a week, a really good quality film a week, to sort of follow their dream. I think it's amazing. And yeah, so I reckon you guys should be doing a weekly D film to just push it. But
we only just got this together today.
Yeah, I know.
Don't organise that.
It's only just happened. But listen, thank you.
Herding cats.
Any last thoughts? Any parting words on your love for a D?
I just love them.
Yeah.
I feel a bit bad because all these other guys are like mad keen racers, and Pim and I just like float at the back of the fleet. Otherwise, I don't know which fucking mark to go around. So I don't even really like racing that much. I just love wooden boats, and Pim's a beautiful wooden boat. So
I feel your passion.
Yeah, I just like sitting on it, looking at it, sailing around in it, sleeping on it.
Probably just need to do a few more weekend bashes and go away for 2 nights or something like these two.
That's my kind of D racing, and overnight. Yeah. But we all raft up somewhere.
Yeah.
Down the bottom of Bruny Island.
Yeah. Fill the bilge with long necks like they used to.
Yeah. I mean, you guys are in the home of doing that.
I got there finally.
That time.
Hey, mate.
How are you?
Wow.
Sorry for the late join.
Nelson, we just got to ask for our parting words, mate.
Oh, parting words. How good are D's, eh?
How good are D's, yeah.
That's hilarious. Have you been able to listen in? Have you been listening, or you've just been
maybe
trying
for
to
the
get
last
on?
like 5-10 minutes? Yes, I have.
Okay. What?
Yeah.
Tell us in 50 words or less why, who you are, what your D is, and why you love it.
All right. I'm Nelson Brown. I've got D2 halves with my old man John Brown, which you talked to, I think. Yeah, I don't know. We came to Tassie on Dad's old boat like 15 or 16 years ago, and I just saw them and fell in love with them and thought, I like that boat. I want to get one. So we shopped around for ages and ages, and one finally came up, and we got her. And I've just loved being able to go out with all my mates on a Wednesday and on the weekend and racing and stuff. And they're just a gorgeous little wooden boat.
I think you summed it up really well. That's a really good summation.
I don't know.
The Wednesday night dream boat.
Yeah, Wednesday night. Bring your mates out sailing that never been before and teach them a thing or two, and it just gets everyone involved. And all the old fellas seem to love seeing us out there and love coming with us sometimes. So it's great.
Brilliant. Well, I look forward to coming for a sail. I can't wait. And thanks everyone for your time, and thanks for your passion. Love it.
Cheers, Sal.
Speak to you soon.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks
See
very
you
much.
guys. See
Bye.
you.
Guys.
Bye.
Bye,
Bye.
guys.
Okay,
See you tomorrow.
Yeah, see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.
Right.
See you, biggies. See you guys.
Bye, Nels.
Bye.
How do you